Hello and welcome again to another edition of Conversation. I'm your host, Sergio Gomez, and here with us today is a former Western Illinois University baseball player, Adam Feiner. Adam, welcome. As a kid, did you ever dream of playing professional baseball?
Yeah, of course I did. I think every kid who grows up playing the game dreams of it, but very few get there. And I was just one of those who fell a little short.
When did you start playing?
I started playing when I was 5 in T-ball and worked my way up to coach's pitch and then all the way up to kids throwing on the mound and such.
And here on college, you walked on to the baseball team?
Yeah, I was the only walk-on member of my year, and then we had one the next year. But yeah, it was a different process because all of the other guys are being recruited heavily throughout high school, sometimes in their freshman year, whereas I didn't get the hype, I think, because I came from a smaller high school.
Did it take time to adjust to playing at the collegiate level?
Yeah, of course it did. Even for those guys who are heavily recruited, it takes a lot of adjusting. Just in pitching, I know for me it was probably a little different because I came from a smaller area, a smaller conference, so it was a big step up. But gradually I got it. I think I felt more comfortable even after my sophomore year.
And did it take time or to adjust to your workload and your practice and game schedules?
Yeah, it did. Because you go into college, especially me in my case, thinking I'm here for academics, I'm not going to focus on baseball. If I make the team, that's great. I'll adjust from there. But I think the game of baseball actually helped me prepare because I think you have to make so many in-game adjustments and adjustments to your swing, throw, everything else. I think that carried on into my daily life, in my academics too.
Did you ever feel overwhelmed trying to complete that process?
Yeah, sometimes I did. There are early mornings and the late nights can get late on you, so just feeling like you have to get everything done can be a little bit of a challenge.
So walk us through a day of a student athlete, practices, class schedules. How does it work?
Well, it kind of varies throughout the year. More in the fall, it's a little more laid back. We'll have a month where we have games on Sunday. So the classes are in the middle of the day, and then you have practice from about 3 to 6. You have lifting 3 days a week as well with that. You have a Saturday practice in the morning from 9 to 11. And then you have your game at noon, and that typically takes 4 hours because you're throwing so many guys and you want to get at bats. It lays off more in October where you're just more lifting and you're doing morning conditioning. But once you get back from winter break, it really changes. It really picks up again because you have to get ready for the regular season, of course, starting in mid-February. So January has 6 a.m. practices and then a practice again at 4, and then you're lifting 3 times a week. You're really, being in a northern climate kind of affects us as far as getting prepared.
You love baseball. You grew up playing baseball. So is it hard to have that same motivation for your classwork as you do for the game?
Yeah, it is. It is. And even though I was here for academics before, it can be challenging, especially in those early morning practices, having the energy to go to class and not, resisting the urge to go back and take a nap instead. It can be challenging, but I think I can attribute that kind of work ethic and attitude to my parents. They really instilled that in me, whereas classwork comes first, and if you take care of that, then you'll have the privilege of being an athlete.
So how do you stay organized?
Well, you just do the things a normal student would, really. Keep things organized in folders, take notes, just be prepared. I think laying stuff out the night before helps you be prepared, especially for those early mornings. And getting into a routine is key too. I know routines are huge in the game of baseball itself, but carrying that into your everyday life is especially crucial in helping you balance the two.
Do you ever feel like you're missing out on certain activities or like joining other organizations because you spend so much of your time in baseball?
That's a good question. Yeah, I do, because I had a lot of friends my early years here that didn't play baseball, and I'd see them go out on the weekends and just things during the week. spending time in your room and getting to know people on a more personal level during the week. I kind of missed out on that because I was busy with baseball. So yeah, I did feel like I missed out on some aspects, but if I had to do it again, I wouldn't.
What do you think is the best thing that you took out of playing for 2 years?
I think just the camaraderie. I think because I played 3 sports in high school, always been a part of a team, for 15 years. So I think the camaraderie and being a part of a team, being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, I think that's the thing I liked about it.
Is there anything that you didn't like about playing baseball for 2 years? Or is there a worst part of it?
There are some aspects where it gets a little long. I mean, especially I was a catcher, so those long hours of being in a squat, it really takes a toll on your knees. So I think if I had to do it over again, I'd try to maybe switch positions or something, because I do feel the effects of catching on my knees now and my back. But I can't really say there's a worst part. I mean, you're part of a small percentile as a college student athlete. It's a real privilege, and now that I'm not playing, you look back at the springtime now, and guys are playing, and you do miss it.
Well, Adam, thank you for joining us here today. This concludes another edition of Conversations. I'm your host, Sergio Gomez. Until next time.